Hey there, people, guys, gals, non-binary folks out there. This is Bad Doc Boone with another episode of Bad Doc Boone Sonic Seller. And this episode is going to mark a change. We're finally getting things underway, doing what we probably should have started doing the channel with. But, a lot of big events happened, and it was around the holiday season, so this got pushed aside. I'm talking, of course, about song reviews. We're finally getting to the reviewing music part of the channel. It'll be probably a good chunk of what this channel does. It won't be the only thing. We might be looking at examining movies or certain TV shows from making commentary on that down the road. If you're interested on something like that, let me know. Anyway, if you like what you see in this video or our previous videos, hit like, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know what's coming up. Anyway, I swore when I started this one that I wasn't going to make this channel political per se. There's enough of that in the world, and there's some other outlets that I can voice my opinion in. So I wanted to try to create something purely about the music. However, as I also said in the first video, if I remember correctly, music and art are not created in a vacuum. Because of that, sometimes we have to address the topics. And the first few songs we'll be looking at are going to be addressing some very real topics going on up in Minneapolis. Our first one, now I know you're going to expect me to go after the big one, what you think it's going to be. We're saving that for second. I'm saving that one for the next one solely because the song I'm going to talk about first came out a few days before it. The song in question is City of Heroes by Billy Bragg. Now, for those of you who are unaware, Billy Bragg is a veteran singer-songwriter whose music owes as much to punk rock in some ways, at least in spirit, as it does folk music. In fact, he first came to people's knowledge as a solo artist, sometimes, doing almost traveling busker thing with an electric guitar and amp. And while he has written songs about, girls and that kind of stuff, he's also written a fair number of songs about political topics, as well as covered, songs about, about apartheid, about, nuclear Armageddon, that kind of stuff. So he's not new to this sort of thing, in other words. So that brings us to City of Heroes, a song that definitely carries on in that tradition. In City of Heroes, he starts off by referencing Pastor Martin Niemöller. And if you're wondering who Pastor Niemöller is, okay, I'm sure you've all heard the quote, first they came for the communists, I didn't speak up if I wasn't a communist. And, the quote kind of starts, then they came for the so-and-so, and it kind of goes on, and then finally it goes, then they came for me, by the time they came for me, there was nobody left to speak up. That was a quote that's been attributed to Martin Niemöller, apparently based on his real experience. Basically saying, he didn't speak up at first when the Nazis started capturing other people because he wasn't one of them. Then they came for him. So the song references that at the beginning. And it builds that up to ask, what would you do in this situation? And Bragg said, living in City of Heroes, you know what you do. When they came for certain people, or in the chorus mirroring that, when they came for the migrant, I got in their face. When it came for the Democrats, 5-year-olds getting in their face, you get what the chorus works as kind of a counteraction to what the first verse is. All this said to a straight ahead, fast strummed acoustic guitar that, if you put it with a backing band and some distortion, could fit just as well punk rock as it could folk music. Of course, a lot of people can say that in a lot of ways those two genres have a lot in common. So it's short, sweet, and gets to the point. But what's important about the song is that using Niemöller's quote and the price he paid as a point, and countering him saying the importance of getting people's in faces when they come to go after people, working as a counterpoint. Kind of highlighting a very important, very real thing that I know some people watching this aren't going to like and don't want to think about, but if they start taking one group of people away, who's next? I mean, it's a very stark, very simple question, because history has shown us it always seems to snowball. As for the song itself, it's cuts to the quick, forward, it's fast moving. It's simple enough that it can be sung at a rally or something like that. If anybody takes the time and bothers to learn the chords, which if somebody has a good ear, I'm sure they could learn. It's direct and to the point. Personally, it's something that was done pretty well. Remember, Billy Bragg is an expert at doing songs like this over the years, and this is his wheelhouse. Why cover this one instead of some more well-known songs? Like I said, it came first, and two, it actually put the counter effect with Martin Niemöller, who mentioned that and then was referenced later in the song as paying for its complicity versus important at taking action. So it's an interesting song, and I do recommend people checking it out. I know that it's not going to appeal to everyone, but if you want to, but it has that energy and it has that passion to it that really needs to be explored. And I kind of noticed, unlike his last time a few years ago when he did an answer song to Oliver Anthony's Richmond, North of Richmond, to which Bragg did an answer song called Richmond Making North of a Million, carrying on the folk song tradition where people will come up with answer songs to counter a song or whatever. I noticed that a lot of the people that were all up in Billy Bragg's face in the comments of it are kind of quiet this time around. Maybe it's because, of the current situation. Maybe it's because, people were reacting to what they were told to react to. I don't know. But anyway, City of Heroes by Billy Bragg is definitely check out. I know you can stream it on YouTube. I'm sure you can stream it on the other streaming services as well. I don't know if there's a physical copy you can buy as a download yet. So, I hope there is. If there is and I find it, I would advise buying it and buying a download so you can put it on your portable music player and play it anytime you want. But, that's hard to say. And putting it out there, rush releasing it is an important folk music tradition. That was even important in the days long before we had the internet. So, anyway, City of Heroes by Billy Bragg. The reason I cited that one as the first song review of the Sonic Cellar, inspired by actual events that, unfortunately we have to deal with. Anyway, so this is Bad Doc Boone with Bad Doc Boone Sonic Cellar. Again, if you like what you see here, hit like, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you should know what's going on. We should be having more of these videos coming down the pike. And until then, I hope you got to enjoy this. And if you haven't heard the song I'm talking about, check out the song. Make up your own mind. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.